the reason why social media is like the holy grail of marketing is because if you look at any kind of survey that asks people how they make a decision before they buy a product, and they'll always tell you like, oh, I read about the magazines, I read about the newspapers, I researched it on the net, etc., etc. But always they can research all they like and they can read about stuff all they like. But what usually pushes them over the edge is word of mouth. It's like a friend's recommendation, and that's basically what social media is. It's just kind of being able to tap into word of mouth. And that's why marketers want to get into it, because if you can get millions of people telling other millions of people to buy your brand, then that's better than any advertising you can do. And I think that's the reason why everybody's trying to figure out how to do it.
Absolutely. I think that now is the time to make a move. And now is the time not to underestimate the internet connectedness of the Asian consumer, whether it's sort of Indonesia, Thailand, or Japan, or India. These people are highly connected. The number of people coming online in Asia has already outstripped Europe and the US. And in the next few years, I think that Asia will be the dominant noise online in terms of ideas, in terms of just making themselves heard. The consumers are not making noise because they just like yelling at each other. It's because they feel that they haven't got anybody to yell to. And I think the internet has rather let them down. Companies are still used to the idea of building a big flashy website and then having a very small part of it for consumers to say what they think.
People are really at the dawn of digital marketing. We're still in that very early phase, and people are still getting their head around what this shift from traditional channels to digital channels means deeply. And one of the most profound impacts, I believe, is a real shift from selling to servicing. And that's a very hard transition to make. And so brands will be part of it, but they're going to have to be part of it not with a sales message, and not just trying to embed themselves in the conversation, acting like one of the girls or one of the guys in the conversation. They're actually going to create relevancy by servicing people rather than trying to just get across the sales pitch. And that's going to mean creating things that people use.
Try to embrace as many different forms of media as possible, because there's different audiences at different places. But you will see an increasing amount of, especially a younger generation, that's going to hang out online and be comfortable in communities and social media. And if you don't market to them, or if you don't have dialogues with them, not even market to them, if you don't begin the dialogue with them, then you're going to lose an entire customer base.
Consumers are willing to accept brands in a social media environment if they play by the social media rules. If it becomes like advertising, look at me, then obviously there's going to be a backlash. I mean, you have to contribute to the social network. You have to bring value. So if a brand's going to come in with cool content that you can't get anywhere else, it's a lot of footage of maybe surfing or things. If you're a surf brand, or consumers will go, great, I want you to be part of my community because you're bringing me all this outrageous surfing footage that I wouldn't normally see. Now, for a B2B brand, obviously it's going to be very different, but they can still bring something of value to the community. And I think you have to give more than you get in the beginning of a social network. If you're going to play in a social network, you have to be prepared to give and not just say, okay, I'm going to use this as an advertising platform. Try it. You like it. I mean, you got to start at least testing. You can't wait until social networking hits a tipping point that all your competitors are doing it to then jump in. It's the same for mobile. It's the same for all digital, really. Search, no matter. You just need to jump in, get the key learnings, see what works, what doesn't work, and don't stay out of it.